Welcome to the VirtualWDCPC rule reminder video. The purpose of this video is to ensure that all drivers can have an enjoyable race and not have to deal with some bullshit that people may have come across in public lobbies before. It's important to remember that this video was designed to act as a quick reference guide to some of the rules of the league. However, it is not a replacement for reading the full set of rules. A link to the full set of rules can be found in the description of this video. We've included some tips based on some of the new features of the F1 2016 game, which even some of the most experienced drivers will not have had to deal with before. Before the start of qualifying, you will need to choose your tyre allocation for the weekend. This is one of the additions to the F1 2016 game, so make sure you have thought about what your tyre strategy will be for the weekend before selecting your allocation. It's important to note that there are two sets of mandatory tyre compounds reserved for the race. One of these two sets must be used in the race. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. Basic racing etiquette should be observed at all times, including during qualifying sessions. During qualifying sessions, if you are not on a hot lap, please ensure that you are off the racing line for any driver coming behind you who may be on a hot lap. This may mean needing to move off the track entirely to ensure you do not disrupt their hot lap. When you are getting ready for a hot lap, try to ensure that you have enough space between you and the driver in front. They may be several seconds a lap slower than you, so make sure you have a sufficient gap between you and the driver to allow for this. Once qualifying is finished, you will need to assign your tyre strategy for the race. Another of the changes to F1 2016 is the introduction of mandatory tyres during a race. There will be two tyre compounds which are reserved for the race. One of these two sets must be used during the race. This can have a big impact on race strategy. Make sure your race strategy has accounted for this use of mandatory tyres, or you will have to make an unscheduled stop on the last lap of the race or face disqualification. Returning to 2016 is the ability to set your fuel load before the race, so you can underfuel or overfuel depending on your preference. Once you have finished setting your race tyre and fuel strategy, the temptation will be strong to press Go to Track. Do not press Go to Track until the mod for that league has completed a roll call. Once the big moment has arrived and the race has started, it's easy to think that the first corner is your biggest opportunity to make up places. However, it also represents the biggest threat to your race. You can't win the race at turn 1, but you can lose the race in turn 1. Take it easy into turn 1, don't take any risks, and you can still make up places as well as having no damage. There are many categories of unsportsmanlike behaviour. We will try to list a few. When you are racing, you will inevitably have to defend your position from someone. It's important to state that blocking is not tolerated in VirtualWDCPC. What is blocking and what makes it different from defending? Defending your line is when you preemptively move your car to cover off a particular line for the driver attacking you. You might move to the inside line or maybe hold the racing line, forcing the other driver to take a less favourable line. Blocking another driver is when you react to their attacking moves after they have started to make it. Blocking is dangerous and inevitably leads to accidents. VirtualWDCPC allows for one defending move per straight. Blue flags are considered sacrosanct in VirtualWDCPC. If you are given a blue flag, you are a lap down on the cars behind you. You must move off the racing line and allow the faster cars to pass you. In some occasions, a faster car may attempt to overtake you off the racing line. If the lead car does this, remain on the racing line. The most important thing for a car receiving a blue flag is to be consistent. This allows the faster cars to predict where you will be and allow them to continue unabated and without compromising their race. It is possible for two back markers to be racing each other and receive a blue flag. The race of the backmarkers is effectively suspended by the blue flags. However, a quick thinking backmarker can still take advantage of any blue flags by getting out of the way quickly and without compromising their relative position to the other backmarker. Similarly, if you have damage to your car and it compromises your ability to race, keep off the racing line and do not attempt to defend your position. This applies regardless if you have received any blue flags or not. If you cause another driver to incur a penalty, for example by forcing them off track, that penalty will be rescinded and possibly applied to you depending on the steward's review. If at any point you receive a notification from making an illegal pass, unless you have evidence to show that it is not an illegal pass, it will be deemed an illegal pass. You must then give up the place or face a time penalty. You may appeal the time penalty at the end of the race if you believe the pass was not illegal, but the stewards will be the final arbiter. Another addition to the 2016 game is manual pit entries. This will require you keeping your car to below pit lane speed limit on entry. However, for reasons beyond comprehension, Codemasters have not included a pit lane speed limiter button. You should practice your pit entry before the race, as you will incur a drive-through penalty for each time that you break the speed limit. Be aware that entering pit lane without attempting to slow down will incur an automatic disqualification. If you have a particularly bad internet connection, you may experience some lag. If your lag is sufficiently high, it will affect how your car behaves in-game. Your car will be unpredictable in its movement and is a major hazard to other drivers. If such a situation arises, you will be asked to leave the game. To avoid such a situation, please ensure you have any unnecessary applications using network bandwidth closed before starting qualifying. Any form of deliberate crashing is 100% unacceptable. It may result in disqualification of your race result and possible suspension from the league. Most importantly, have fun, and good luck in your career as a virtual WDCPC driver.